HIV, what gave you the courage to share that and remove the stigma and just say, this is life, this is what's going on?
That one took me long. It took me long to start sharing, mainly because I was very angry. Number one, I blamed myself a lot. Secondly, I was blaming myself a lot on I could have, protected myself and all of that. And I was afraid on what it would do to my mother, because we must remember, my mom only got to know about the state of my marriage when it ended. She didn't know what I was going through.
That's the thing I remember you saying, like you kept it to yourself.
I kept it to myself. So when it ended so publicly, she, took time, came from Eastern Cape, came to stay with me in Pretoria, literally nursed me back to sanity. And
your mom is incredible.
Cooked for me, fed me and my children. Like I became a baby. For the whole month and a half she was with us. I would come back from work and go to my room and close myself. She would let me be. Some days I would just feel like opening up and sharing. She would let me be. She would clean my house, cook for me, make sure the children are clean, they've been picked up for school and everything. So now to say I am also HIV positive. So to say I was also HIV positive, it felt like I would be taking a dagger and stabbing her on the heart. So I had to keep it.
Because you had seen how
heartbroken she was, that I had kept quiet for so long and never shared with her. I mean, with her any of the things I was going through. It was a lot of heartbreaking information at the same time. Remember, I also talk about the termination of pregnancy in the book. She had just gotten to know about that as well. That I had gone through so much without ever letting her in. So the HIV, I was like, no, if she gets to know this, she's gonna die. And she's gonna think I'm dying, because I also looked horrible. I looked sick. So I was like, okay, let me not, and because I was going through self-stigmatization, I also had to go my full circle and finish and before I could share it with anyone. So I was diagnosed in June, marriage ended in August. You see, the timing was just horrible. Sorry. So only in December I told my mom about diagnosis. Very rushing over it. Didn't want to go into details and whatever. But amazingly, she understood way more than I thought.
Wow. She started, I think we underestimate our parents.
She started giving me examples of people that she knew, that I also knew, that had been living with HIV for 20 years, more, whatever. It was like, okay. And she was like, no, you're not going to die. It doesn't matter, death sentence, whatever. Wow. And at that time, I had prepared this whole speech of strengthening her and encouraging her to say, look, I'm not dying. And she in turn was encouraging me. I was like, okay, girl is fine. Now I have to deal with myself, Then when I started treatment 9 months after diagnosis, it was March now, the following year, I fell sick. And that's when I told 2 friends of mine that, like, it was very type of sharing of news. I just we have a WhatsApp group with just the three of us. I was like, girls, I was diagnosed with HIV. I've just started taking ARVs and I'm sick.
Imagine.
I am reacting to the ARVs. Obviously, I did not even give them a chance to get shocked and whatever. They were like, okay, what do we need to do? What are you going to do? Guys, okay, I'm going to be fine.
Okay.
But I'm just reacting to this medication. I'm most probably going to back to clinic and I'll be fine. So I kept on updating them. And so the other person that knew about this, besides my mom and my 2 friends, was a friend of mine that I told on the same day I was diagnosed, because in the clinic I had to fill in accountability thing, so that if I don't go for my checkups or medication, somebody could be called.
Okay.
So that was just 4 people and myself that know, and obviously my ex-husband, who, by the way, tried to use the whole thing to keep me with him, like on the basis of like, who's gonna like you now, like who's gonna love you, 3 children, HIV positive, too much baggage, but I thank God I never listened. So I had to keep this within this safe space, this very close circle, until I got over my self stigmatization, until I was comfortable with the diagnosis. I had to process my feelings. I had to process the anger, the guilt, the regrets, and everything that came with it. I started working out because I felt like I needed to look good. But if I ever decide to talk about this thing, I must not be looking like I'm dying. So I started taking care of myself. I started, paying attention to what I eat, running in the mornings, making sure that my clothes look nice, going back to who I was before all of this. And eventually, I think a year and some months, I told my children. Because I was like, if I'm going to talk about this publicly, at least let my children hear it from me. So I sat them down, told them, at least they were at an age where they were learning about it at school, life orientation, whatever. And so they kind of knew the terms, what is HIV, what are ARVs.
So when you told them, you had already decided to speak about it publicly?
Not 100%. I was still considering it, that maybe I one day. But one of the things I was sure of is like, I don't want to be an HIV activist. If I talk about it, I'll talk about it as part of my life story. Because I just decided to stick to this authentic version of living, so not talking about the HIV felt like I was hiding it, so I was still considering that maybe it's one of the things that I have to talk about, at some point, even if I'm not gonna go public about it, but wherever, I can start mentioning it or whatever. So I told my children, and they were very understanding. They started reminding me when to take pills and stuff like that. My daughter would even...
That's so incredible.
My goodness. My daughter sometimes would even shout at me, do you take your pills? Because she knew already that I have this thyroid operation that I had in 2012. So I live on thyroid medication because my thyroid was taken out. So she knew already that I have pills that I take every day. So even the introduction of taking pills every day was like, so just like your morning pills, Okay. So whenever she feels like I'm not taking pills, I'm like, so you want to die? You must take your pills, otherwise you're gonna die.
Oh, bless her.
And then it started becoming this thing that we would talk about in the family. And it affected them differently. The big boy, he was angry because he looked at the timing. He was like, so this is where you got it from. And I was like, no, man, let's not look at it like that. He was angry. He was already angry at him for all the abuse and everything. So this was just another thing he did to me, So he was like, so, and the day he figured it out, it was like so out of the blue. I was like, so, he infected you. And I was like, ish, big boy. And I go back to the anger state and whatnot. So I found a way to redirect the conversation.
How did you get over the anger and the hate, around? And not just the HIV, but even how he treated you, like all that, the bitterness. How did you get over that?
I don't think. I don't think there's a how to or how I did it, because it was over a period of time. And I always say that forgiveness is multi-layered. Healing is multi-layered as well. You peel a layer and then you think, I'm done. I'm okay, I've got this. and then
Yes.
something happens,
Yeah.
or trigger comes
yeah.
along, and then you like, you,
Yeah. I thought I was fine.
and then you start again. So it's been, and I think even now there are things that he did that affect me directly, you know, that I still, you know, tread softly around, you know, because I'm not sure if I've 100% healed, you know, on them. As much as the big things that were public, there are things that were like so personal, so private as well, that certain things remind you of, and you're like, oh yeah, that's true, you know. But when I decided that I want to get over the emotions, it's when I decided to have peace. I was like, I deserve to have peace in my life. I've lived such a sad and hurtful and painful and distressing life, and I don't want to live like that anymore. So the great part of it was done by him being out of my life. Now it was like, okay, now it's up to me to decide how I move on from this. Do I still allow him to control me even though he's out of my life? Because if I still choose bitterness and anger and whatnot, I'm still giving him power over my life. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done with him controlling how I feel. I'm done with him controlling my emotions. I'm done with anything that has to do with him controlling me. And if I continue feeling all of this, I'm still giving him the power. One of the things that assisted in processing the emotions and whatnot is that when things were very tough for me financially, my mom begged me to take my son away, the one I share with him. And because, you know, crashes are expensive and whatnot, she was like, can I help you?
Okay.
Just for 1 year to raise your child, or for as long as you need to recover, until you find your feet. Let me take the child and stay with him. He will go to school or whatever, and you just take care of these two, because we couldn't really change their schools without totally disrupting their lives. So the period when my son was not with me, I had time to not talk to him, because there was nothing that we couldn't talk about. I mean, really, what do you want from me? Your child is at home. You want to talk to him? Call my mom. You know. So that whole year, and a half, I had time to process every bitterness, every whatever that I was feeling towards him. And because we were not talking, it felt like I was okay, you know. It felt like, no, I've forgiven, man, I'm alright. And because I was talking about these things publicly and whatever, it felt like, no, I've overcome. Then the child came back. Then we had to interact. And then I had to now really deal with, okay, he is still very much trigger worthy. And I felt like there were certain things he would just say or do just to get me to that level where I respond in a certain way, you know. So now I had to actively and very much intentional work on the emotions and everything, because I was like, if I respond this way every time this person does this, it means it still controls me. So now that we have to interact, we have to talk, because this child is here, lives with me full time. We have a parenting plan, and I just had to find a way to slowly but surely reclaim myself and not allow myself to be triggered. Obviously, it never ends. I mean, even now last week, he wrote me a very long message.
Oh my goodness.
I read it and I just responded with good night, because I was like, you know what, I'm dizzy. I am not coming to the party, sorry.
Are you going for therapy?
I am.
Okay.
I am, and I can see its value, you know, in how because the conversation last week was started by me, but it just took a very sharp curve. And now, No, I read the last message. This is a long message. and this person is fighting.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, no, I don't have the energy for this. I just responded, good night. I switched off my phone and slept. And we never spoke about it again.
Yeah.
So, and I was proud of myself that
you managed to not answer back and tell him.
Because I mean, I was already starting to make notes on this line, on this line, on Vanna, you did it. But I was like, and then what?
Yeah.
Then what? Because it's gonna be this back and forth, and he would have won because he would have gotten me. Yes, he would have gotten me to that level where we am fighting and shooting and whatever. And I was like, what are you gonna lose if you don't respond? Nothing. Like,
wow.
So so there's no like method of this is how you do it or whatever. It takes every bit of strength.
And every day.
You know, I always when I talk about, you know, church attendance and stuff, I always say that you've probably attended church all your life.
Yeah.
You cannot recall every single sermon you've heard.
No.
You cannot recall every single prayer that has been said, uttered by you or other people.
Yeah.
You cannot recall every word of encouragement that has been shared on the pulpit. But you know that each and every one of those things added something into your life.
Yeah.
So it's the same with healing and forgiveness. Every bit of something adds on to the bigger, as long as your bigger goal is clear. My goal is to live in peace.
Yeah.
I want to be grudge free. I want to be bitterness free. I want to live authentically and freely, you know, without any of this weighing me down. Then you make that your bigger goal. So each and everything that you come across adds on to that goal. That's okay. This is where we're going. The focus is there. So let me focus on that. Let me not be distracted by anything he's gonna say, anything he's going to do, anything. Because also people talk. Anything that anyone is gonna say. My goal is to live bitterness-free life and peaceful life, and a life where I'm in control of my emotions. So I cannot allow people or distractions or anything to deter me from that.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you so much, Siya. Like, I feel like, I needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear that. Like, I'm there at that point where I need to hear that. So I'm feeling very hopeful that if I'm focusing on I just want peace.
Yes.
Then I'll get there.
You will.
Somehow I will get there. I wanted to talk a lot more about the book, but we've run out of time. But can you please let my viewers know how to contact you? You know, because you're a life coach. You put such healing videos and messages and everything on your social media platforms. So if you can just share where people can find you if they want the book, if they want to get hold of you. Yeah.
All right. On Facebook, I have a page, Beyond Broken with Siya Zenani. It has my WhatsApp number. You can DM me there. You will get a lot of inspiration on the page. That's where I'm not crazy.
On the page,
on the page, I'm very sane. I'm Coach Siya. I'm very sane on the page. I only share motivational stuff, inspirational stories. On Instagram, it's @BeyondBroken. So it's with the word @80 Beyond Broken. And on YouTube, the page is Beyond Broken. All the videos that I've shared, I do a live video session once every week. We still have to open for this year. Once every week on issues, childhood trauma, substance abuse, living with HIV, whatever talks that we can. I do this with friends of mine that are psychologists. So please do check the page out. You will, if you go to videos on the page, you'll find them. You can also find them on YouTube at Beyond Broken. My personal profile on Facebook, you're gonna find the other side of me. The very direct shoot from the hip.
It doesn't play.
I don't play, but it's Siya Zenani. If you're not afraid of very controversial, brave me, it's Siya Zenani. And as I've already said, on the page you'll find my WhatsApp number as well. If you just send me a message, I'll tell you where to get the book. Oh, my book is also available on Amazon. Just search Beyond Broken by Siya Zenani. Or Siya Zenani. It's written by Siya Zenani. So yeah, on Amazon you can find the book. But if you're around South Africa and you're interested, just drop me a message. I'll let you know where you can get it. I have various, I have distributors in various towns in South Africa. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, God bless you. May may continue to expand your territory. You know, I will be in touch because I wanted us to talk about public speaking. You know.
Yes.
But yeah, run out of time.
We have another session.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making time. Yeah, no, it's been a blessing. I hope you guys are blessed. Yeah, give us some love in the comment section, and yeah, God bless you. Thank you guys for joining us. Love you, but remember that God loves you even more, and that is true.
Thank
ciao,
you.
ciao.
Bye.
Helen, you've watched everything. Thank you so much for watching everything. Now don't forget to subscribe and go back to my other videos and scroll and scroll and scroll and watch everything. There's very good things in here, very good interesting things. You are number one. Now thank you and take care of yourself.